Good morning. We have a lot of things happening. It started off a slow news morning and it just started cranking up. The markets are open. We've seen a little bit of volatility already. Wheat's up. Soybeans rallied from the lows to the highs. Wheat's all over the place with what's going on with StatsCan, especially Minneapolis wheat. Some other news that came out, and of course, we'll get to our breaking news, and we have to talk about what happened to gold and Bitcoin last night. I have the opportunity to stand today, like my good friend Connor B, to introduce Connor B to the show. I have this little thumbnail.
Connor Bridgman, Assumption, Illinois, contributor, ATI ProMedia.
Connor
Man,
B.
look at that. Good morning, Tommy.
Good morning, producer Joe. Roll the disclaimer. Oh, I have to not wiggle. I have to not wiggle. This new standing's
There
too
we go.
much. Hey, like they say in the movies, where do I put my hands? All right, we have a lot of breaking news, some things that happened, action packed. I do want to say before we start the show, we already started the show, that we are so close to 3,000 subscribers, and we couldn't have done it without the good folks out there clicking like, subscribe, notifications, tell a friend. This is open to the public. We do this free to the world. You don't have to subscribe to keep the show running. We'll be doing it all the time with the Live at 9 crew from Advanced Trading. Connor B and about 7 other people are part of that. We will have premium content coming at the beginning of the year. We'll talk more about that later. Speaking of premium content, for advanced trading clients, of course, if they want to watch Dave Lechtenberg talk about the delivery process, we have that available. They can get a hold of us at 1-855-737-FARM or at info. But today, after the close, Brady Huck's talking cattle. Brady wanted to come on today's show, and I said, Brady, you can't. There's too much going on in the cattle market to just spit it out in a minute or two. Let's break it down into a segment. If you need that, if you're not an advanced trading client, we can email that to you. We can text it to you. All advanced clients are welcome to that Brady Huck cattle story. Let's get in the news, my friend.
Absolutely. Yeah, that cattle market, not a great start this Monday morning. But in other news, we've got some flash sales all across the board. We're really spreading the love. We've got 16 million bushel wheat to China for the 23-24 year. Corn to Mexico looks like 23 is that bushels, I believe, producer Joe. I could be wrong. And then 183,000 metric tons soybean meal to Philippines. Tommy, I always love seeing wheat, something other than soybeans going to China, right? That I hope that's a story that's developing, that short crop of wheat in China, and hopefully we can get some life in this wheat market. And like you said, with that Stats Canada report as well, maybe they're playing a little less wheat in Canada. After that, let's look at export sales, right? Year to date for this week compared to previous years. How are we looking on our soybean export sales? And for everyone listening to this and not watching, we can send you this slide. Feel free to get a hold of us. But what we're looking at is just the sales to different countries. Okay, we basically red is China. The rest are all the other countries. As you can see, the red's what really matters. China's our big buyer. And while it's great to see these fantastic flash sales, to see these export sales on the books, we still got some work to do, Tommy. We're at a 4-year low for these years. You know, we're chugging along. Historically, we're not bad, but we really need to see soybean sales tick a little bit higher. I'd like to see them a little bit better, and I'd feel a lot better. And I think a big influence of that is going to be what South America going to produce. We'll continue monitoring the weather down there. GFS for this week into next week looks about average, right? If we start seeing some rains fall in that Mato Grosso region, we could expect some life, but we'll see where that does, and we'll break that down, I think, the rest of this week.
Absolutely. Connor B, China, the best trader in the world. You can't be surprised that a few years ago, coming on to the anniversary of the Ukraine invasion of Russia into Ukraine, when wheat had spiked to, we say 14, but for simple math, say wheat went from 5 to 10. It did go to 12 for a few days, but wheat went from 5 to 10, 10 back down to 550. China's in buying. Well, they should be. I mean, they can come shop wheat all around the world a heck of a lot cheaper than they could produce it. And also, as we talk about how much grain or how many soybeans are produced in South America, the weather's really going to matter. Depending on how much is produced, it's as much as our carryout, and that's an interesting little tidbit. So we could poo-poo it, but the bottom line is right now for the whole world we have too much grain, and when you take that into what happened, too much grain, Bitcoin last night exploded, gold exploded to all-time highs. The thumbnail for today's show is gold explodes to all-time highs, but it's down $27 now. I wrote down Gold last night went to 2150. It's all the way down to 2060, a $90 break in gold. What does gold have to do with a corn and bean and wheat farmer or someone raising cattle? Well, the truth is, you read a thumbnail like this, you get all excited, you say, I'm going to watch the video. There's 19 people watching. Thanks for watching. I'm going to watch the video and see what Tommy and Connor have to say about gold and Bitcoin, and maybe that'll help make corn go up. Maybe not. So here's what I want you all to do. I want everyone out there in interweb land watching, I want you to call your local grain elevator. I want you to ask them, what's the price? What will you give me for my corn and beans? Then tell the merchandiser that gold hit all-time highs. Then ask them one more time, what will you give me for my corn and beans? And if they change their price based on Bitcoin and gold going exploding overnight, I want you to call me, and the number's down below. The truth is, it's excitement. It's noise. As Ben Peters says from Advanced Trading, that's just noise. I watched that show. They put out all types of facts and statistics and charts. It was just noise. And guys like me, Connor, I love reporting noise. I love outside markets. I've had a seat at the COMEX. I've had some wild moves in gold. I could tell you about when silver moved $8 in a day. All the great stories. But what's that have to do with you watching? Not a whole lot. Corn's up, go ahead.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to lump them all together. I'm going to exclude Bitcoin. I don't know if we can include that in the commodity sphere quite yet. But when I hear gold, right, a simple guy like me is, okay, all commodities are rallying. Where the truth of the matter is, gold's rallying because of what's going on in Israel and Gaza and all that. Bitcoin's rising because they might get an ETF, right? It's individual things. We're not going to see the follow through with corn, soybeans at this time.
Connor, our time's up. I'm looking at the time, and I wanted to keep these shows within 7-8 minutes. Real quick, Gina G is going to end the show, but there is a couple little bit of housekeeping. Again, thank you for liking and subscribing. Tell a friend. People can also listen to us. Connor, people who like listening to podcasts, where can they get a hold of us?
Yeah, feel free to watch us on Apple Podcasts. Let's pull that up. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we're on there. This show will be posted on both of those. Producer Joe will get it on within 5 minutes of this show. And feel free to tune in tomorrow. We'll be on YouTube again.
5 minutes, maybe 10. He's fast, but he's not that fast.
Start the timer.
We have to do a better job of when we say to the people on Spotify and Apple listening, if there's a chart or a graphic that we talked about, we understand you can't see us. Call us, email us. We'll send you the day's charts and graphs. Of course, after hours premium content with Mr. Brady Huck. Friday, we had Dave Lechtenberg. I think Gina G's going to end the show. Good job, buddy. See you tomorrow.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.